60%, the percentage of people that should still be watching your video at the 30-second mark. But how do you do that? How do you go from wherever you are now? And believe me, I've been at the 20%, 30%, 40% people watching at the 30-second mark. So, how do you go from that stage to having 60% or more of your audience still watching at the 30-second mark? We're going to talk about that in this video, as well as other retention tips and tricks that can help you make sure that people are watching your videos longer. Hey, my name's Joe, and I'm a YouTube improvement enthusiast. If you've ever wondered what does good retention look like, it doesn't look like this. This is a video that I posted early on in my career. And this retention graph looks terrible. Now, there's a percentage of people that continued watching the video after the first 30 seconds, but we lost a huge portion of our audience just in that first 30 seconds. Why? Well, before I answer that, let's talk about what good retention is for each video length. When you're talking about short form content, your retention graph should be much, much higher. You should be looking at 70, 80, 90% of people either watching the first 30 seconds of the video or the entire video. But when we get to long form content, if you're able to ensure that your viewers stay beyond the first 30 seconds and 50 to 60% of your viewers are watching the entire video, you're doing excellent. But what about a video that is longer than 10 minutes? Well, as people's attention spans shorten, you're going to see drop offs as the videos get longer. So when you have a video that is 10 minutes or more, if you're able to maintain 40 to 50% of your audience watching the entire video, then you're doing excellent. You may be wondering, okay, so I've got a video, it's 5 to 10 minutes long. Why do I have to have 50 to 60% of my audience watching when someone who makes a 20-minute video only has to have 30 to 40% of their video being watched? Well, if you think about it, having 30% of a 20-minute video watched, that's 6 minutes of average view duration. But if you have a 5 to 10-minute video and you have 50% of people still watching, that's only 5 minutes of total average view duration. YouTube is interested in how long you keep people on the platform. So that's why a good average view duration changes depending on how long your video is. But how do you convince 60 to 70% of your audience to keep watching through the first 30 seconds? One of the things you got to keep in mind is people today get scammed all the time. There are all kinds of internet scams. There are bait and switch sales scams. So we are, because of just the tactics that are used, trained and conditioned to expect to be scammed. So this means that in that first 30 seconds, you've got to be delivering on the thumbnail and the title. Whatever it was that got them to click on that video, you've got to be delivering on that promise. You might think in that first 30 seconds, you can have a, hey guys, welcome back to the video. Or you can have a nice little 5 to 10-second animation that is the brand of your channel because you're told good branding is important, but you can't. But wait, I've seen big YouTubers that consistently get 1 million views per video. They have an animated intro screen and they say, hey guys, welcome back to the video. That's because their viewers know them and they like them. Your viewers don't know you and they don't like you. I'm not saying they won't like you. I'm just saying at this moment in time, they don't like you. So you have to make them like you. And the only way you can get them to like you is if you can get them to stay on the video. Scrap the welcome, scrap the animation intro, and begin to deliver the content they clicked on the video to watch. So make sure that in that first 30 seconds, you achieve these objectives. You stick close to what you promised in the title and thumbnail. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you are teasing them with highlights of content in the video. Hey, you're going to learn this, or you're going to know this, or if there's something funny or interesting that happened, show a short 3 to 6 second clip of what transpired. and make sure you keep those clips changing every 3 to 6 seconds. Change a camera angle, change a shot location, do whatever you can to really make sure that you are continuing to provide them with visual interest. And if you can do this, you can get that 60% of your audience or more to that 30-second mark. And this is great because now you've got momentum, but how do you ensure that you can maintain that momentum? Newton's first law says everything that is in motion stays in motion. But you might be wondering, I've rolled a ball and it eventually stops. And that's because there are forces at play. Things like friction, things like the pressure that the atmosphere puts on it, these things will eventually stop that ball from rolling and then it becomes at rest. The same thing happens in your video. You've got them to that first 30-second mark, right? But you've got to maintain that viewer momentum. The hook is great, but now you've got to get into the content. How do you make sure that the content remains interesting and that they will continue to watch throughout this whole process? Well, you do that by letting them know what they're going to learn in this video. Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about audience retention and we're going to talk about what you should do to maintain viewers into the first 30 seconds. But after the first 30 seconds, what do you do to ensure that 50 to 60% of your audience, or depending on however long your video is, continues to watch through the entire video? These are the things that we're going to discuss in this video. And I'm going to show you tips and tricks that you can do to make sure that your audience continues to watch that video throughout the entirety of the video. Then, what you do now that you've set up that bridge, you've let them know what this video is going to teach them, what they're going to learn. Focus on your value beats. These are the little bits of information that you're providing them, and you need them to come at consistent intervals so that they keep watching. They're continually seeing the reward they have for listening to this video, to listening to this podcast, to watching this video. They see that over and over and over again, and they get these little dopamine hits, especially when you change the angle of the video. Because remember, boredom is going to set in, and they're going to start, if you can't hold their attention, they're going to start thinking about another video they could be watching or another thumbnail they saw that might have some more interesting content. There's a lot of things vying for their attention. So keep changing the visuals on your video. Keep providing them with that dopamine hit so that they stay locked in on the information that you're providing. You've heard of curiosity loops. Continue to ask questions. Things like, what's a good curiosity loop? How do you provide a good curiosity loop? Well, now you're probably wondering about those things, right? The answer to that is asking questions just like that, questions that they need answers to. And the question has to be good. So make sure you're spending time thinking about the questions you're going to ask to create those curiosity loops. It's not enough to just ask the question, you've got to answer it. And if you don't, they're going to feel like you've tricked them. So when it comes to maintaining your momentum, what do? Tell a well timed joke to pique their interest. Maybe show a little meme, a different clip, shoot from a different angle. All of these changes in the visual cues will make them feel like there's something new and interesting about this video, something more that they've got to dig in. Once you've done that with the visuals, you do the same thing with the audio, but with the audio, you're creating those curiosity loops. You're giving them those dopamine hits. You're making them wonder what's that answer to the question that he just asked. You can also do things like later on in the video, I'm going to tell you X, Y, or Z. And then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to continue watching until I get the answer to X, Y, or Z. All of these things keep them hooked and help build that retention. But you've got to make sure your pace, the value beats that you're providing, come at consistent intervals at an appropriate pacing for your audience. And you might be wondering, what's the appropriate pacing for my audience? Well, it depends on who your audience is. There are audiences that are going to want information coming a lot harder and a lot faster. But then there's also audiences that want information that is slow and enjoyable. They want that chill pace. So understand the type of content that is well geared for your niche, and then provide the pacing for that niche. Let's also talk about outros for a minute because I think this is an important point to discuss because we're seeing a shift when it comes to outros. Many people now are dropping outros entirely, and you're seeing situations where videos just feel like they abruptly ended. There's this story, and I guess they get to this point in the story, and the story's done. It's over, boom. And all of a sudden, the next video starts playing. And in some respects, you're like, at least for myself, I think, wait, what just happened? That was all? That was in? That was the end? That's all that happened? Yeah, I kind of a little bit feel cheated. I feel like there was no, we've wrapped it all up and we've told you everything you need to know. But the reason they're doing this is because when you wrap it up, people leave. If people know that you're about to wrap everything's up, well, guys, that's all for today. So nice talking to you. Maybe you'd like to hear that. No, don't do that. Eliminate the outro altogether. You need to tell them that they need to go watch this video on dealing with imposter syndrome before they realize that the video they're watching right now is about to end. And if you can do that, you link them from one video to the next, and that keeps them on the YouTube platform longer and make sure that YouTube recommends more of your videos.